Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, when you think about the Oscars, the glamour, the drama, the big winners, does a specific genre immediately top into your head for, like, Best Picture? Probably those really thought-provoking dramas, maybe, or perhaps witty comedies.
Yeah, usually.
But what about fantasy? Those incredible worlds, the creatures, the epic quests. Are they ever really in the running for the top prizes?
That's a really good point because traditionally the Academy definitely has its preferences.
Right?
Genres like fantasy, horror, even sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they often get overlooked when award season hits.
Yeah, seems that way.
Most of the major awards, they tend to go to dramas or maybe straightforward comedies.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there's been, a push in recent decades for more categories celebrating technical achievements.
Like the visual effects sound.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantasy still rarely gets considered for much beyond those very specific specialized awards.
So, okay, if that's the general rule, what makes some fantasy films actually break through? Today, we're going to pull back the 10 most surprising fantasy movie Oscar wins based on a Screen Rant article.
Sounds good.
Our mission here is to figure out why these particular fantasy films beat the odds and maybe what their wins tell us about the Academy's relationship with the genre. It seems a bit complex.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's important context, I think, to mention the big exception first. Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Ah, yes, the big one.
Right. It's pretty much one of the only fantasy epics to actually win Best Picture. But, that was released at a really unique time in Hollywood. A huge cinematic event.
True.
And nothing before or since has quite hit that level of award success for fantasy. So the other wins we're digging into today, they really are surprising because they don't fit that massive Lord of the Rings mold.
Got it. Okay, let's dive in then. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, we've got a film from 2000 that was, let's say, divisive. How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, I remember that one. Jim Carrey.
Exactly. Live-action Dr. Seuss. But the story felt a bit muddled to some, maybe a bit mean-spirited. Some critics really didn't like it.
Yeah, it got some flack. Definitely wasn't expected to be an awards contender.
Not at all.
Okay.
And yet, surprise, it actually landed nominations for 3 artistic Oscars. Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design. But its only win. Rick Baker and Gilroy Ryan took home the Oscar for Best Makeup and Hairstyling.
All right, the makeup. That makes sense, actually. Rick
Yeah.
Baker's work is legendary. And turning Jim Carrey into the Grinch, that was quite something.
It really was. Almost ironic, isn't it? A film people debated gets its Oscar moment for, makeup.
Yeah, the craft shines through.
Okay. Number 9 takes us into Tim Burton territory. 1999's Sleepy Hollow.
Classic Burton visuals. Really atmospheric.
Totally. But very much a genre film, right? Didn't really seem like Oscar material on the surface.
Not for the big awards, perhaps. But what's interesting is it got 3 nominations, which is already a bit of a surprise. Especially one for Best Cinematography.
Oh, really? Cinematography.
Yeah, which often goes to more, traditional features, the kind of prestige pictures.
Right, the Oscar bait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for Sleepy Hollow to get nods like that. But ultimately, Rick Heinrichs and Peter Young won for Best Art Direction.
That feels fitting, bringing Burton's whole Gothic vision to life.
Absolutely. The look of that film is undeniable.
Okay, from Gothic horror to, modern blockbusters. Number 8 is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them from 2016.
The Wizarding World continues.
Right, and here's the thing that kind of blew my mind. This spinoff actually got the Harry Potter franchise its only Oscar win to date.
Wait, really? The only one?
Yeah. 8 original Harry Potter movies, tons of nominations.
12 nominations, I think it was, across the 8 films.
12, and not a single win.
Not one. Which is pretty wild when you think about the cultural impact the craft involved.
It's staggering. So for Fantastic Beasts, the spin-off to then win.
It won for Best Costume Design, Colleen Atwood.
Colleen Atwood, right? It's remarkable, isn't it? Almost like the Academy finally felt they had to give that universe something somewhere.
Could be. Or maybe her work just genuinely stood out that year. But yeah, the context of the main series having 0 wins makes it feel extra surprising.
Definitely. Okay, number 7. Let's go back to the 90s. An underrated Robin Williams film, What Dreams May Come from 1998.
Oh, wow. That film visually stunning, but very emotional. And kind of a box office flop, wasn't it?
It was. And it was one of his earlier, more dramatic roles, a shift for him.
Right. It's an interesting one because it sort of blends fantasy with that kind of heartfelt drama, but it only got nominated in 2 technical categories. Not for acting, not for writing.
And it won.
It won Best Visual Effects.
Yeah.
For its truly state-of-the-art visuals at the time. painting come to life kind of stuff.
So even a film that didn't quite find its audience could get recognized for pushing the technical boundaries.
Exactly. Acknowledging the innovation, even if the whole package didn't click commercially or critically.
Okay, number 6 brings us back to Jim Carrey. 2004's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Ah, Count Olaf. Another big transformation for him.
Yep. Dark fantasy based on the kids' books. It got decent reviews, but again, it didn't really feel like award season fare. Looked like it might get snubbed.
Right. Maybe too quirky, too dark for kids?
Possibly. But then, surprise twist, it gets 4 Oscar nominations.
4. Mostly technical again.
Mostly technical, yeah. And it won Best Makeup.
Okay, so that's the second Jim Carrey film on this list, winning for Best Makeup.
It is. Following the Grinch. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is it Carrey's performances demanding that level of makeup, or is it just that these specific films allowed the makeup artists to really go wild?
It's probably a bit of both. Those roles require such visual transformation, the makeup becomes almost a character itself. And the Academy noticed.
Yeah, recognizing the craft behind the character. Okay, number 5. This one's a bit notorious. 2010's The Wolfman.
Oh boy, yeah, that remake
Ah.
did not go over well.
Total box office flop. Mostly negative reviews. Pretty much everything. The Oscars usually avoids, right?
You'd think so. So how did it win anything?
Best makeup.
Of course. It had to be Rick Baker again, didn't it?
Bingo. This was Rick Baker's 7th win in the category. 7th. Almost 30 years after he won the very first Best Makeup Oscar for An American Werewolf in London.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So the film itself might have been a mess, but Baker's work, you just couldn't deny it.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of the Academy rewarding pure artistry, almost completely separate from the films surrounding it. They just had to acknowledge his mastery.
Even in a bomb. Wow.
All right, cracking the top 4. Number 4 is Robert Zemeckis' Death Becomes Her from 1992.
Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis. Fun, dark comedy.
Yeah, but kind of a forgotten Zemeckis film, maybe. And even with Meryl Streep, who's, an Oscar favorite.
Oscar magnet, yeah.
The film's weird mix of genres, dark fantasy, comedy, horror, probably took it out of the running for major awards.
Yeah. It's a bit hard to categorize, which the Academy sometimes struggles with.
But it really nailed one thing, didn't it? The visual effects.
Oh, absolutely. For 1992, the CGI, like the holes through the body, the head twisting, that was pretty groundbreaking stuff. Really impressive and used so effectively for the dark humor.
And that's what it won for. Its only nomination that year, Best Visual Effects.
Yep.
And it took it home.
So again, the technical innovation breaks through, even when the genre mix is maybe a bit odd for them.
Exactly. Pushing the boundaries of what you could show on screen.
Okay, top 3. This should be interesting.
Number 3 is a real classic. Tim Burton's Beetlejuice from 1988.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, wildly imaginative, beloved film.
Totally beloved. But maybe its quirkiness didn't exactly scream Oscar bait,
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Tim Burton himself, he still hasn't won an Oscar personally.
Isn't that wild? But Beetlejuice. This was actually the first Tim Burton film to get an Oscar win.
Oh, okay. For what, let me guess? Makeup?
You got it. Best makeup. The work by Vin Neal, transforming Michael Keaton and creating all those Netherworld characters, it really blew voters away.
She's amazing.
And get this, she became only the 2nd woman ever to win that award, which was still relatively new then. She went on to win 2 more Oscars later.
Wow. So a big win for Burton's filmography, but also a significant moment for female makeup artists.
Exactly. Recognizing that incredibly imaginative, practical work.
Okay, number 2. What could be more surprising than Beetlejuice?
How about a film that was meant to launch a huge franchise and just completely failed? 2007's The Golden Compass.
Ooh, yeah. Based on the Philip Pullman books.
Yeah.
Had a great cast, Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman.
Huge expectations, epic fantasy, but it just didn't land. Box office disappointment, kind of faded from pop culture pretty quickly.
It really did. It's one of those films you almost forget won an Oscar.
Totally forgettable winner, almost, but despite all its failures.
Let me guess. Visual effects.
Best Visual Effects.
Right.
That was its only major awards nod in the U.S., and it won.
So it really doubles down on that theme, doesn't it? Even if the film fails critically, commercially, culturally, if the effects are impressive enough.
They can still get the statue. It's like the Academy can completely isolate that one element, the technical skill, from everything else about the movie, rewarding the craft, not the overall success.
Fascinating. Okay, so what's number 1? The most surprising fantasy Oscar win.
All right, number 1. It's 2006's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Okay. The sequel, Davy Jones.
Exactly. Now, the first Pirates movie, Curse of the Black Pearl, was a huge hit. Johnny Depp got nominated. But the film itself was kind of snubbed otherwise, right?
Yeah, you'd think maybe the first one had a better shot, so why the sequel?
Well, Dead Man's Chest was pure 2000s blockbuster spectacle. And it actually got 4 Academy Award nominations.
Soar.
And it won. Best Visual Effects, making it the only Pirates movie to ever win an Oscar.
Huh. Only the sequel won. And the effects were incredible. Davy Jones and his crew. That CGI still holds up remarkably well.
The Screen Rant article actually makes a pretty bold claim that the sequel CGI is some of the best ever seen in film history.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, saying few fantasy movies, even now, nearly 20 years later, have topped it.
I mean, you can see why they'd say that.
Yeah.
It was genuinely groundbreaking work for character animation and integrating CGI creations seamlessly.
So it's a testament to that technical achievement. Spectacle, done that masterfully, absolutely broke through.
I mean, that's quite a list. Lots of makeup and visual effects.
Exactly. So thinking about all this, what does it really mean for you listening at home and how we view the Academy? Looking back at these 10 wins, there are definitely some patterns.
Oh, for sure.
First, yeah, the absolute dominance of technical awards for fantasy. Makeup, visual effects, art direction, costumes. That's where fantasy consistently gets recognized.
Precisely. And it really highlights how Oscar wins can sometimes go to films that maybe weren't critical darlings or even commercial successes.
Like Wolfman or Golden Compass.
Right. But they had undeniable technical artistry. It suggests the Academy finds it, I don't know, maybe safer or easier to reward the visible, measurable craft in genre films.
Rather than grappling with the story or themes.
Maybe. Rather than engaging with, the narrative complexity or character depth, in the same way they do for series as dramas. We also saw those interesting threads, specific people like Rick Baker winning multiple times.
Or Venial.
Right. Or patterns across franchises or actors. The Potter universe finally getting one, the Jim Carrey makeup connection, Tim Burton's visual style being rewarded.
So it feels like the Academy does acknowledge fantasy, but it's almost always siloed into these technical boxes. Is it because it's easier to reward the craftsmanship without having to fully endorse the genre itself for, like, Best Picture?
That's a really insightful way to frame it, actually.
It's like they're saying, okay, we see the incredible skill here, the effort, the innovation, but we're still not quite ready to put fantasy on the same pedestal as drama for the biggest awards.
I think that's fair. These wins absolutely show a recognition of the craft in fantasy filmmaking. They see the artistry, the technical genius needed to build these worlds, create these creatures. It's an acknowledgement of a different kind of cinematic excellence.
Focused on the how, maybe more than the what or why?
Perhaps. Focused on the intricate details, the groundbreaking techniques, even if the genre itself isn't getting the top-tier validation.
And that wraps up our deep dive into these pretty surprising fantasy movie Oscar wins. It's been fascinating, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Reinforces that idea. Fantasy rarely grabs the biggest prizes, but its technical artistry definitely gets noticed.
Yeah, hopefully this gives you listening a bit of an aha moment about maybe what the Oscars value or how certain films manage to overcome that genre bias, at least in specific areas.
Maybe take a second to think about the incredible level of artistry, the sheer innovation needed for these technical wins, especially when, like we saw, sometimes the film around that winning element wasn't even that well received.
Right. They recognize the brilliance within the work itself.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Given how far visual storytelling, practical effects, and just sheer world building in fantasy films have come over the decades, does the Academy's traditional focus on drama for the major awards still feel like it captures the full breadth of what cinema can achieve today?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Or are these specific technical wins for fantasy, these little surprises, are they maybe subtly pushing the boundaries, signaling a slow, maybe very slow, but steady shift in recognizing different kinds of filmmaking excellence? What do you think?